there are two separate discussions behind that question. One is, what's the level of stringency that Canada should strive for? What does doing our part mean? And I don't think it means going to $300, $400, $500 per ton, even if something on that order is required to achieve our target. I guess my response would say, well, doing our part is pricing at an appropriate level from the globe's perspective. And if other countries fail to achieve sufficient stringency, then we need to settle that at the bargaining table through international negotiations and so on. But if you have a goal of lowering emissions really aggressively in Canada and you want to do it in the least cost way, then it is with a high carbon tax. It's politically challenging only, I think, to the extent that leaders make it politically challenging. You can point to major political parties in Canada that at some point have both supported explicitly carbon taxes and opposed explicitly carbon taxes. You had the NDP in British Columbia running an entire campaign against the BC carbon tax, losing, by the way, but the quotes that you can hear Carolyn James using in that campaign sound very much like a Canadian Taxpayer Federation rally. That carbon taxes do nothing to fight climate change. All they do is hurt the little guy, for example. Or you could point to federally the Conservative former Prime Minister Stephen Harper openly putting forward a plan called Turning the Corner in 2007 that would have a $25 per ton carbon tax by 2010, rising to $65 by 2020. And so here, we're just living in a moment where Conservatives are, for political reasons, opposing a carbon tax, but that doesn't need to be the case. And I think what we need are leaders that take the challenge seriously and get behind policies that can help address that challenge.
Okay, Tzeporah, so you disagree, with the statement that we can be stringent and do it with a high carbon price?
No, you can, but I think what we've just said and what you very eloquently going through our history noted is that the tax has been a political football used at various points by almost every party. And the fact is, a carbon tax is one arrow in our quiver, and we need all the arrows. You can reduce emissions by regulations, you can reduce them by price, and most jurisdictions around the world are many jurisdictions around the world are aggressively doing both. And that's what we have to do. And so that means stronger clean fuel standards, stronger zero-emission vehicle targets. It means many other regulations, energy efficiency standards, zero-emission vehicles. It means electrifying our infrastructure and putting that emphasis on the infrastructure that we build, right? But I want to say one other thing. It also means that simultaneously you don't address what the industry continues to talk about, which is competitiveness and leakage. So yes, when you first put in place a policy, as the World Bank Carbon Pricing Report has noted, you have to address competitiveness. And what they said in that report is it's critical that a price goes up and competitiveness measures go down.